Hi, and welcome to 2K Sports Studios. I'm Greg Gumbel with Clark Kellogg. We're here with the 2K Sports NCAA Selection Show. We're all set to show you the seedings and pairings, so get out your bracket sheet, get those pencils ready. Here are the basics. Of the 65 available tournament bids, 31 are automatically given to conference champions. The tournament committee hands out the remaining 34 bids on an at-large basis. An opening round game will take place on Tuesday night to narrow the field to 64 teams. But before we unveil the brackets for this season, here's a look at the final top 25 media poll of the season. There's one big change you'll notice in the rankings. The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers jumped all the way from the number 24 spot to number 17.
They're peaking at just the right time, Greg. This is exactly the way you want to be playing going into the tournament.
The media rankings are what everyone's been following for the last 4 months. But in just a minute, the selection committee's opinion is going to be the only one that matters. It's time to talk about the topic that has a lot of players and coaches holding their breath right now, the NCAA tournament bubble. These are the 10 teams that aren't worried as much about where they'll be playing as if they'll be playing. Clark, who jumps out at you there?
UCLA had the chance to set themselves apart from the rest of the bubble teams, but they never could get over that hump and guarantee themselves a spot.
And we have a few more teams in similar position, right, Clark?
Wake Forest
put together a solid season, but their record just isn't impressive enough to make them a no-brainer bid. If the committee doesn't give weight to their tough conference, they could be out of luck.
I'm sure it's been a long week for those teams, but the wait's almost over. The NCAA Selection Committee has finished its meeting, and we're ready to unveil the top 4 seeds in this year's tournament. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top overall seed, and they will play in the East Regional. They begin the tournament as the dominant team in college basketball. They've been ranked number 1 in the media poll for the entire season. Let's see if they can live up to everyone's expectations. On to the second number 1 seed, who will play in the South Regional. The Connecticut Huskies are seeking their 3rd NCAA championship in school history. The Pittsburgh Panthers are our 3rd number 1 seed, and they'll play in the Midwest Regional. They're back in the tournament again, and no doubt they'll be feeding off the experience of last year's appearance as they try to get to the Final Four this year. And finally, our 4th number 1 seed will play in the West Regional. The Marquette Golden Eagles are in the tournament field as a number 1 seed for the first time in the history of their program. Now, here's how the brackets shape up based on where the number 1 seeds have been assigned. In one national semifinal game, the winner of the East Regional will play the winner of the South Regional. In the other semifinal game, the winner of the Midwest Regional will play the winner of the West Regional. Those games will be played on Saturday, April 5th. Then it'll be on to the national championship game on Monday night, April 7th. Any surprises in there for you, Clark?
I don't think I'm alone in my surprise with these picks. Whenever you reach this far down the poll for the top seeds, you're guaranteed to have some second guesses coming your way.
So, with the number 1 seeds out of the way, it's finally time to tackle the rest of the brackets. First up, we take a look at the East Regional. The North Carolina Tar Heels are the top seed, finishing at 25-7. They finished 2nd in the ACC. They will take on the winner of the opening round play-in game between Southern, with 14 wins, and Georgia Southern from the Southern Conference. And now, the number 8 seed, the away team, come into the tournament as the 4th place team in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the Washington Huskies, who were 5th in their conference, finishing at 18-12. Memphis comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 21-12. And they will take on the 12th seed from the SEC, the Arkansas Razorbacks, with 21 wins. Western Michigan enters the field as the number 4 seed from the MAC. This marks their 4th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Michigan Wolverines. Finished the season with 20 wins.
The Western Michigan Broncos are one of those teams that's hard to put a finger on. They've got a terrific squad, but they depend on a lot of young players, and that lack of experience can be a big factor. Sometimes young guys play a lot looser than the veterans, but it's always a tough call. They really could go either way on you.
The Kent State Golden Flashes are in as the number 6 seed. They'll be taking on the number 11 seed, the Towson Tigers, with 20 wins. George Mason comes in as the number 3 seed, finishing at 24-7. Siena comes in to face them at number 14 with 18 wins in the tournament championship of the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference. Our number 7 seed is from the Big 12. The Texas Longhorns were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the Big Dance. They are going to play the number 10 seed, finishing at 17-14. Next up is the number 2 seed, the Arizona Wildcats. are the regular season champions from the Pac-10. They'll be going up against the number 15 seed, the Montana Grizzlies, with 19 wins. This will be their 8th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. What a tremendous regional final we'd have in this bracket if the number 1 and 2 seeds here make it through the first 3 rounds unscathed. That could be one of the games of the tournament. Next up, we'll take a look at the South Regional. The Connecticut Huskies are the top seed, finishing at 24-9. They finished second in the Big East. They'll take on the away team, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their first appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Temple comes in as the number 8 seed, finishing at 20-12. LaSalle comes in to face them at number 9 with 21 wins and a chance to prove they're right where they belong among the top 65 teams in the nation. Western Kentucky enters the field as the number 5 seed from the Sun Belt Conference. This will be their 20th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 12 seed, the Virginia Cavaliers. Finished the season with 20 wins.
The Western Kentucky Hilltoppers will be an extremely dangerous team in this tournament, mainly because they have such terrific veteran leadership. Coaches love when they have guys on the floor that have been around the block a few times because they don't get rattled. They play with composure. I look at the experience of this team as something that could put them over the top.
UTEP comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 26-8. And they'll take on the 13th seed from the Southland Conference, the Nicholls State Colonels, with 24 wins. And now the number 6 seed, the Ohio State Buckeyes, come into the tournament after finishing second in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Idaho Vandals, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-8. The West Virginia Mountaineers are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the Samford Bulldogs, with 18 wins. Next up is the number 7 seed. The Oklahoma State Cowboys have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big 12. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the UCLA Bruins, with 18 wins. They return once more to the very familiar surroundings of the NCAA tournament. Our number 2 seed is from the Big East. The Fighting Irish of Notre Dame were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They're going to play the number 15 seed, the Northern Iowa Panthers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 17-14. Some of the lower seeds in this bracket have the ability to not only compete with the high seeds, but win a few games. The potential for a Cinderella or two in this bracket is definitely there. On to our third bracket of the day. Let's take a look at the Midwest Regional. The Pittsburgh Panthers are the top seed, finishing at 25-9. They were conference tournament champions in the Big East. They'll take on the Lafayette Leopards, the number 16 ranked team. This marks their 4th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Our number 8 seed is from the Ivy League. The Princeton Tigers were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They're going to play the number 9 seed, the St. Bonaventure Bonnies, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 23-9. The Louisville Cardinals are in as the number 5 seed. They'll be taking on the number 12 seed, the Brigham Young Cougars, with 24 wins. Georgetown enters the field as the number 4 seed from the Big East. This marks their 25th appearance ever in the NCAA tournament. They'll be getting ready to face the number 13 seed, the Maryland-Baltimore County Retrievers. Finished the season with 21 wins.
The Georgetown Hoyas are a team that is just so powerful and strong up front. I would put their front court up against just about any other teams in the nation right now. It's always good to have strong guard play, but if you ask most coaches, I guarantee you they take the good big man over the good little man most times. Their interior play should serve them very well in this competition.
New Mexico comes in as the number 6 seed, finishing at 23-9. And they take on the 11th seed from Conference USA, the away team, with 22 wins. And now the number 3 seed, the Purdue Boilermakers, come into the tournament first in their conference during the regular season and were losers in their first game at their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 14 seed, the High Point Panthers, who came in first in their conference tournament, finishing at 20-7. Next up is the number 7 seed. The South Florida Bulls have established themselves as one of the best teams from the Big East. They'll be going up against the number 10 seed, the Gonzaga Bulldogs, with 21 wins. This will be their 11th appearance all time in the NCAA tournament. Kansas comes in as the number 2 seed, finishing at 24-8. Lipscomb comes in to face them at number 15 with 18 wins in the tournament championship of the Atlantic Sun Conference. There are going to be some incredible matchups in the later rounds of this bracket. If the top seeds can avoid the early upsets, we can look forward to some real heavyweight battles. And finally, let's have a look at the West Regional. The Marquette Golden Eagles are the top seed, finishing at 25-7. They were winners of the regular season championship in the Big East. They'll take on the Fairleigh Dickinson Knights, the number 16 ranked team. This will be their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament in the history of their school. Next up is the number 8 seed, the Columbia Lions are the regular season champions from the Ivy League. They'll be going up against the number 9 seed, the Baylor Bears, with 20 wins. This will be their 5th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. Cincinnati comes in as the number 5 seed, finishing at 19-13. And they will take on the 12th seed from the WAC, the Fresno State Bulldogs, with 21 wins. Stanford comes in as the number 4 seed, finishing at 23-10. Oral Roberts comes in to face them at number 13 with 20 wins in the tournament and regular season championships of the conference. Our number 6 seed is from the Pac-10. The Oregon Ducks were rewarded for their outstanding play this season with an at-large bid and a ticket to the big dance. They are going to play the number 11 seed, the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, who were semifinalists in their conference tournament, finishing at 18-11. The USC Trojans are in as the number 3 seed. They'll be taking on the number 14 seed, the away team, with 19 wins. And now the number 7 seed, the Oregon State Beavers, come into the tournament 6th in their conference during the regular season and were semifinalists in their conference tournament. They are going to play the number 10 seed, the Eastern Michigan Eagles, who came in 1st in their conference tournament, finishing at 21-10. Florida State enters the field as the number 2 seed from the ACC. This will be their 11th appearance in the NCAA tournament in team history. They'll be getting ready to face the number 15 seed, the UC Santa Barbara Gauchos. Finished the season with 17 wins.
The Florida State Seminoles are certainly a team to watch out for. They're a tremendous all-around team and have the ability to beat anyone on any given day. They didn't get to be one of the highest-ranked teams in the nation by accident. This is a dangerous team that knows how to win, and I would not take them lightly.
It's the first question every Selection Sunday. Which is the toughest bracket? Well, this bracket looks to me like it wins that prize this year. Not only are the top seeds strong, the lower seeds can be dangerous as well. Clark, how do you view this year's top 16?
Maybe I haven't agreed with the selection committee every year, but I think they did a great job this time. The top 16 looked just about right to me. Stanford snuck into the top 16 as probably the weakest of the 4 seeds, and I'd be surprised if they make it to the real Sweet 16.
Now, let's see how the conference representation fares. The Big East gets 10 teams. The Pac-10 with 7, 5 out of the ACC. The Big 12 gets 4 teams.
It was really a terrific year for the teams in the MAC. They topped the non-power conferences with the number of bids they got, and it shows you how far this conference has come. They're becoming dominant at that level.
And let's not forget the teams out of the Ivy League. For a small conference, they competed at a very high level this year. Those teams could be the place to look if you're trying to find a Cinderella story in the tournament.
I'm surprised there were so few bids for the teams in the SEC. It was an especially disappointing year for that conference. Usually you can count on a few of the nation's elite teams coming out of there. But this was a season where very few of those teams could maintain any type of positive momentum.
Let's come back to the bubble teams that we mentioned earlier in the show and see which of the teams were able to get into the tournament.
Towson must feel a whole lot better now than they did before the show started. Their ticket is punched, and they're on their way to the dance. But frankly, I'm not sure for just how long they'll be dancing.
While those teams are celebrating getting into the tournament, let's take a look at the other teams who are on the short end of the stick.
St. Mary's can point the finger squarely at themselves for putting together a butter-soft schedule this season and then not rolling through it. If you're not going to schedule any tough games, then you'd better win more games than they did.
All right, Clark, now that we know all the teams and matchups, time to get the tournament underway and let the madness take over.
Greg, it's going to be a fantastic tournament. We've got an outstanding field and a lot of sensational players. I guarantee there are some memorable moments soon to come.
For my partner Clark Kellogg and for all of us here in the 2K Sports Studios, I'm Greg Gumbel. Thanks for joining us on the NCAA Selection Show, brought to you by State Farm, the #1 auto insurer. Enjoy all the excitement of the NCAA tournament.